Hey, hi, hello once again, and welcome back to another Haphazard production with your host, Lance Renard, traveling the vast and wondrous and beautiful land in which we live. And I was going to wait to offer this detail because I feel remiss. I've been talking so much and telling you guys all these details so that you can have knowledge, but knowledge is only power if action is involved. And I haven't given you a chance. I haven't, and I apologize. It's not your. Don't blame yourself. It's my fault for not giving you a chance. But so many things are just now beginning to occur to me, and I'm in a 35-mile-an-hour zone and just missed a bird. Thank you. Haven't hit any in quite a while, but I'm gonna put this down so I don't ever get too much attention. So how do I help you? How do I give you an opportunity to actually do something effective and positive and regenerative for this upcoming situation that we will mitigate together? How do I mitigate this aversion to our world? How do I do it? And an idea came to me, but for once, finally had an original thought. And that was that I thought about the movie V, pardon me for making the peace sign. Two of Swords is the peace card. However, V, in that movie, of course, if you've seen it, about the French Revolution, or sorry, English Revolution, 5th of November, we shall remember, and yada yada, woof woof, or was it the 11th? At any rate, Lance, get to the point. Well, here's the point, guys, right here. Bada bang, boink. The sign of the shadow. Go out and get one of these hats, something that looks similar to the hat, break down the right brim, curl it over so it's going to stay, and wear it to openly show and see, because people are like, well, I'd love to join the militia. I wish that I didn't have the feeling. First of all, I have to track it down. I have to track down my local militia. And secondly, contact. And contacting is uncomfortable because it's expositional. And so how do I become a part of the shadow team that's being created to crush the shadow oppressors? Well, that's the beginning of how, because that way you don't have to be exposed, you don't have to be targeted, you just go out and get a similar hat. And then I'm thinking, well, I'm asking a lot of them to do that. Shouldn't I be giving out hats to the people that want them, that want to be part of the shadow team, that want to be part of the revolution, that want to stand up for liberty and crush tyranny? It takes a multitude. As I mentioned, we are the many, they are the few. How do we evidence that without actually being too overly expositional and making ourselves a target? That hat, that stupid hat. And so rather than you run out and grabbing a hat, which you can do, then I'm thinking, well, if I got, say, 10, 20,000 hats like that, I don't care about the cost. What I care about is sending them from a specific location that would also, once again, make it a little too expositional to where you could be targeted. Not good. You got to mitigate. And I'm an advanced emergency mitigator, and I consider this to be an emergency because of the time-sensitive details that we have to work with in what's happening here and now in the world. So, why don't I purchase tens, if not hundreds, if not a million or two hats like this one? Nice, beautiful leather. Sure, there's tracking techniques that could be used, but not in the beginning. In the beginning, they're not keyed and clued, and anybody or part of the shadow government that the commander-in-chief or Trump or whatever you want to call him keeps coming out with he keeps. Basically, when I look at the guy now, I used to see this spoon-fed guy who never did a day's work in his life, snotty little rich kid who owns all kinds of stuff, always has, and lost tons of money, but claimed to make lots of money. And that's what I always saw when I listened to this guy. And he never used to read off his scripts. He used to just, off the top of his head, and people would be going, "Oh my God, what did he just," and I didn't really look into my training at that point because it didn't matter to me at that point. I was busy with all of my little huff and fluffs and hoo-has. So here's the point. If I'm shipping from a specific location, that's going to create the possibility of everyone I ship to being targeted in some way. However, I travel the country. I travel from state to state to state, and I talk person to person to person. And I talk liberty, and I talk the fact that I am here to serve the people and not be some power-mad idiot. And I wield the president. You see, Trump gave his presidential power to FEMA. My expertise in specialist training is with FEMA. And so this chain reaction in my obligations due to my level of training, 52, essentially, it's quite precarious. And to be able to, and the number of connections, the amount of connections I have it's like the creator, somebody set this up ahead of, when I was a kid, this started, this started when I was a kid. All the little techniques and things I've taught myself just because I thought they were cool, and now it's all come first full circle. So, get to the point, Renard. God, you're a babbler. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm kind of brookish today. And, babbling brook. Okay, all right. Sorry. How do I keep you from being targeted if you want one of these hats? Not to be cool, not to go, "Oh, I got his hat," because karma will get you if you do that. If you're joining up in the shadow league that I am creating now and here, more power to you. At least you're showing your intent. At least you're showing that you would stand up come the time, come the accoutrements that you require. And there are so many cool ways to not kill people. I know, to not kill people, right? This isn't about killing people. This is about finding the shadow, in the shadow. And so, how do we show each other that we stand for this integrity, dignity, honor, and valor? How do we show people with just a flash, with just a glance? And it's all about the hat. Boink. This is an identifying factor, and who's to say anybody else couldn't pick up hats like this and walk around with them? It could be any type of hat. It doesn't have to be the specific and particular one, although it's a nice chunk of leather, or a few chunks of leather sewn together. That rhymed. I'm going to start writing songs. All right, so have I made my point yet? Kind of. You get it. I think. If you don't, I'll repeat. I travel the country on a constant basis. I communicate to people on a federal emergency management level as a specialist and operating on a sovereign level due to my obligation of training in a 52 level FEMA. This guy, come on, learn the laws of our country, pal, or at least drive properly. Or just pass in the ditch now. Pardon me. Being courteous to the people around you, following the essential rules. People, once the revolution is over, revolution? Who said that? Then there's going to be, monarchy, anarchy, capitalism, socialism, communism, lizardism. Look, let me tell you something, guys. We rule ourselves. Russia rules themselves. You go into a town, you take any country, go into any town in any country, And those people are ruling themselves. Essentially, that's what keeps peace amongst nations. Other people want to live in a good life. They just want that. Do you think that in any other country they're going to feel any different about their families, about their activities, about what is right and proper and dignified? No. The idea that we can rule each other and to have, we rule each other. It's not by oppression. It's by dignity and common sense. If you have a speed limit posted amongst curvy, mountainous highway curves, and your speed limit is way too fast for those curves, you're going to kill people with that speed limit, you see. So it's very often just plain common sense. Some guys are going to go racing down those curves at 200 miles an hour because of the fact that he'll go over the edge. Oops, there goes the hat, talking again. Silence. You see, we and other nations are capable of monitoring themselves. Were it necessary, of course there's going to be some cleanup, but see, most what we call criminals were created by the conditions in which they were forced to grow up in. And that was this black ops shadow that's controlling everything around the world now. So we have to be the shadow in the shadow, find the shadow, and shed some light on it. Boop. And that's the end of that. How do we show each other we care? I know we haven't got much time. And so for me to get these hats at, I don't know, probably discount, maybe $12 a piece, 10, I don't care. I do not care about the cost. You go, well, you're not rich. And I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. I'm not rich. I'm not richy rich. That's for sure. However, here's the deal. What I'm thinking about is getting a whole lot of hats. I'll start out with maybe a couple of hundred here and there. And then start sending them out. If you want to go get your own, save me a couple of bucks. Yeehaw Mardi Gras. But to put it, the universe has decided to bestow upon me that which I have requested thus far. And I'll just make another request on your behalf to let you keep in the shadow as a shadow operative. So when I'm walking and I'm talking, and I can look across the street, you can look across the street, whatever, and see all the shadow ops going, we are standing up for liberty just by wearing a hat. That's a start. This way we have an idea of what's happening, of who's doing something about it, who cares enough to do something about it. I saw a guy with, he's a paraplegic, and he had on his war veteran hat and vest. And, one day I expect to see that man in one of these. And I haven't seen a woman yet that doesn't look fantastic in this thing. So just for the sake of good fashion, I will keep my word. I always eventually keep my word. I said that on subscriber number 761, I was going to send a Batman clock. You think I forgot that? You think I had to go look it up? I have a great memory, guys. Well, depends on how much I smoked that day, but I am the funniest guy I know, and humblest, of course. And so, with that idea in mind, let's vive la revolution to change the world in a better way, to let people govern themselves and to trust people and to educate people in proper ways and give them an environment that they don't have to go steal. That, if you have everything you need. Why would you go into subversion to get what you need? So much criminal behavior is caused because of the oppressive ways somebody grew up, all of the movies that they watched that encourage this take it, or I got it, the movies where they're robbing banks and that sort of thing, which they're quite exciting, etc. and addendum. But ipso facto, gang, if we don't do something, it's not seeming to get any better. And from the call I get when I look at the president, I see him in a desperate situation, trying to call out to shadows to take care of the situation in desperation and in futility. Because anybody who's on the payroll, I'm not saying that they're part of the shadow, but they are manipulatable because they're on the grid, and I am not. Fact. And you go, well, making these videos is putting you on the grid. Yeah, whatever you say. No, pardon me for being condescending. That was wrong of me, and I apologize. And don't blame yourself. The reality of the situation here is that I am using the exact techniques and the exact techniques that have been used against us, against the shadow. So the shadow of the shadow. You need to become part of the shadows. And who knows? Hell, only 30 or 40 people watch these videos anyway. And who gives a flying rat's ass? Or is that true? Yeah. Don't doubt everything, but question it for sure. Make your own assessments by your own evaluations without taking some guy who's supposed to be an expert on this or that, or the other, for instance. Yeah, it's like different techniques. I manage a biker bar. Aye, Captain. I managed a biker bar for a couple of years, and in that place, it was a pretty tough joint. And I was looked at, as I am now, as some kind of punk kid, which I am so accustomed to. It's not their fault. It's my fault. I blame myself, and well, actually, I should say I take responsibility for my condition, which most people should do. And that's just me telling you exactly what to do. But take that in consideration. The more responsibility you can handle. Anyway, this huge guy, not huge. If you have to duck a doorway to get into buildings, then I consider you to be huge. Okay? This guy, Lurch, was a little over huge. And he comes in, I'd never met him before, and I was fairly empty bar, maybe only 6 or 7 people in there. And Lurch walks in, I'd never seen him, and I'm like, man, you're big. Pretty sure those are the first words I said to him. I commonly would comment on somebody's features, especially if they're quite impressive. And Lurch has this very stern look on his face, leans over the bar with both hands, actually fingers pointing to each other, and leans on the bar and says, "You're not so big." And he's got this booming voice because his body's so big, it echoes off the walls. It makes candle flames flicker and shit, but from across the room. So anyway, Lurch goes, "I could kick your ass." And I'm like thinking, did somebody pay this guy off or something? Why is he such, I'm like, why don't you just have a beer and not worry about that kind of stuff? So tell me about your situation or problems, and maybe we can work it out. Nah, I'm going to kick your ass. Well, I had already developed a reputation of outbalancing people. I probably had taken out by that time 200 to 300 guys. And taking them out. I'm taking them outside and bid them farewell in a good day. Because they were too drunk and belligerent or whatever reasons, I never hit people because of my girlfriend being a Tai Chi instructor. I learned balance and form and motion. And if you got a person moving in a direction, you don't stop them. You continue their motion. You help them continue. So anyway, I look at him and go, okay, I'm not going to be able to talk this guy out of it. So he's leaned over the bar saying he's going to kick my ass, and he's like towering over me. And yeah, he needed to brush his teeth. But anyway, I'm like, you know what the problem with a big guy like you is? You're all big and tough and muscular, and you work out all the time. You got huge muscles. But the one problem you have are your ankles. Thank God he gave me the time to say that, because I was forewarning him. And I said, actually, he said to me, I could kick your ass in 2 seconds. And I said, 2 seconds? Yeah, that's what it'll take me to take you down. And then I told him about, you know, how big and burly and how minuscule his ankles are, and you can't work your ankles out. They're always going to be toothpicks, pal. And unfortunately, I will take you out and down within 2 seconds by your ankles. And so meet me down at the end of the bar, and I'll prove it. So off he goes. And it's a horseshoe barn with one opening that you have to fold the door open at the end of the bar. And he's waiting down there by the time I get there. Now, one thing, this is PSYOPs, and I'll throw a little PSYOPs in here. I basically told him what to do prior to him doing it. And then he followed my orders. So you might think that's, yeah, see, this is leading somebody psychologically in the first place, because I knew that he was going to head down to the end of the bar. So I used that moment in advantage to say, I'll meet you down there, go ahead. And of course he was going to go anyway, but had he been in control of himself, he would have stood there and said, you first. You see? Do you get that? Okay. Anyway, this is a part of the psychological advantage of people that think they have more over and on you when you retain your calm resolve. So, go down to the end of the bar, and big guys like that, here's another little detail, have to wear loose-fitting pants. No, I didn't pants him. I know you were hoping I'd say that. I just pulled his pants down. No. So the point is the ankle and the pant leg, you commonly don't find these big guys in slim-fitting pants, It's more boot-cut pants. And so there's a space from the ankle to the outside of the pant leg, somewhere around his leg, pretty good size space, or else it's evenly spaced. Just little info on out balancing people. Now these are different types of balance that I'm talking about: psychological balance and physical balance and physical realities. Thank God the man wasn't wearing shorts or yoga pants, for instance, or fishnets and Daisy Dukes. But anyway, I go down to the bar, I open it up, he wraps his arms around me and picks me up like I'm a toy. Well, on the way up, I hooked my toe into his pant leg, and he basically used me like a rope and pulled his own leg out from under himself, using me like a rope, And he falls backwards because, of course, he pulled his own leg out from under himself, and I grabbed the two sides of the bar as he goes down and lets go of me. Thank God he didn't keep a grip on me, but, he had to put his arms out, or he's going to go flat on his back, spine. And a big guy like that usually has a really hard time with his lower back. And have some compassion for people, even if they are in a bad mood and think they're going to whatever. So anyway, he goes boom onto the floor, and I grab the sides of the bar, and I go, 2 seconds, ha! And it was. And he's laying there on his back, just like, oh. And he goes, you cheated! And I started laughing at him, and he started laughing. And the next thing you know, we're best pals, hanging out, French kissing each other. No, just kidding. But I love the guy. I really do. And yeah, Terry. But he had brain cancer. I'm not sure if he's still around. I highly doubt it. That was 25 years ago. Yeah. But the point here is that knowledge is power, but only with action. I'm here to teach and train and give advice to people that give a shit about our world. What can you do now? mean, I sit and babble, you sit and listen, you go, hey, I like it, good. And, but, what are you going to do? So, I can't just get, you go do this. No. What I need to do is to supply tons of these hats. Tons of them. And ship them from all different locations to all different parts of the world. We're talking Africa, Canada, everywhere, Mexico. Everywhere you can think of, who's ever out there in Antarctic looking for that edge is wherever we need to ship them. Me and the mouse in my pocket. The shadow mouse. Who knows? The evil that lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow mouse knows. And so these are the ways of the world, all of the evolutionary and revolutionary details are progressing, and they're progressing in a massively positive direction. And I can only do so much, but I have to do something to help you guys. Sit there and say this, and you better do that, and you should do this. I should shut up and do something for you. And so, all I have to do is ask the Creator or the creation or the universe to allow me to do this for you so that you can show your support, not by giving me money, by me giving you hats. And maybe it will come down to me giving everybody money. I don't know what is in store for us from here, but I do know that we got a commander-in-chief out there going, somebody needs to help me, and very few people can. And it's not him to help. It's not about helping him. It's a self-sacrifice. Is it so hard for you to put on a hat and walk outside with a hat on? Would that hurt your feelings? So, these are my objectives for you, my shadow people. Let's start the Shadow League. Let's put it together and find the shadows that control the puppets together, unified. It can't be done any other way. You can't just go, you know how that ends up. We all know how that ends up in a pathetic, futile venture and outcome. So, my friends, for the 30 of you that actually watch this channel, yes, I keep my word, and I will keep my word, and find hats that are either similar and not cheap pieces of crap. Nice hats. Give them to you without any desire for your kickback, because that's needy greedy, and in my opinion, and I really don't subscribe to the 7 deadlies. Not at all. I think that's a dissension of the spirit. And so, here we come with big craters. Whoa, man. And that was Andromeda. Whoa, wow. That was Olympia. And so, right. What do you think of that? Why don't you get a hat? No, why don't you let me send you a hat? Right. So, you sending me your mailing address is once again a way for you to be targeted. So we're going to figure out something else aside from that, in a way that you will remain a shadow to take out the shadow. And that gives you potential beyond compare, my friends. Everybody who is willing to accept the responsibility behind what I am talking about, I'm not asking you to play James Bond, or am I? Well, not women. They would have to be Jesse Bond. Yeah, well, I'm not going to go there with the bonding agents. Okay, like Elmer's glue and such. So, for my good friends out there, and even for my evil friends out there, we have to stop this dissension of our people, this slaughter of so many. It's just begun for the major shadow, Puppeteer, and they're not looking at any resistance yet. But well, that's going to be debatable real soon here. So I hope you take every word that I've said in this to heart, my good friends. And by the way, X47, when I said that in another video, I'll give you a clue. or actually, clue, is that 4 and 7 adds to 11. And 1 and 1 is 2. So this is the essence of gematria or numerology. And in the second card, we find the High Priestess on the major arcana of the tarot. The High Priestess has to do with illusion and the moon. So, I'm not asking you to overly research details, but this is beyond scope of a demon to actually get the purity of the light. And then, that in the Bible says he will be the controller of the light, yada, yada, woof, woof. Yeah, we're living in a physical world, and I am a material girl. Living in a material world. Yeah. All right. So these debatable details, don't get caught up in semantics. Do you want liberty? Do you want tyranny? Your choice. Okay. I'm sending out those hats, but don't start sending me addresses. I'm going to give you more clues and more details about how things are done without the whatever subversive elements of nature being able to actually grasp it. But you, my friends, you have the light within. And let's keep it happy, let's keep it pleasant, and let's keep it friendly. And let's see, today's joke. What would today's joke be? One guy, there's two guys, and they're not very attractive. Dumb and Dumber, let's say. Let's go there. And one sees the other, and they've always been single. They never get a woman or have a girlfriend sort of thing, never have a relationship. But then one day, this one guy's got this beautiful woman with him. And his friend says, "How did you end up with such an attractive woman?" And the man with the beautiful woman says, "Oh, I just went to the beach and I put a potato in my pants." And she was quite impressed with what she saw and curious as to my virility. And so she got together with me and she likes me. And so the other friend goes, "Well, I'm going to have to go try that." So he goes, gets a potato, and he goes down to the beach, and he wears the potato, and he doesn't have the positive results his friend does. And so his friend's walking up the beach with his very attractive girlfriend, and he says, "Man, I haven't had one woman take an interest in me." And the other friend with the beautiful woman says, "Well, you got to put the potato in the front of your pants." Sorry about that, dreadfully sorry about that. Lord, please forgive me for that joke. But it was all I could come up with at the moment. Right. So, and left, and center, up and down, up, down, left, right, front, back, and center is 7. So, love you, and I am working for you, whoever you are in the world, and look forward to getting a hat, and who knows, I may just stop by and deliver it in person if you're within the borders of the United States, Mexico, or Canada, because now things are changing, and wow. Like I said, I was going to wait to put this out, this information, but I can't wait. We have time-sensitive ops that we need to address. So nobody and nothing will get in my way. And it's great that, sometimes troopers are curious and interested in certain details. I've been pulled over for being from Minnesota. In deep south Louisiana, after having been to way on the outskirts in the southern bayou, being out there drinking with the boys, and then coming back up dark bayou highway, which is basically just a road in the swamp, and there's just road and swamp on both sides, and occasionally there'd be a shack or an old broken down gas station, and I'm cruising down, smoking a doobie when zero tolerance in that state in those days. And the lights come on behind me, and I'm like, oh man, I'm half in the bag, I'm smoking a doobie, I reek of weed, and I am so screwed. At any rate, I didn't freak out. Paranoia will destroy you. Keep a calm head. And I pulled over into a broken down gas station shack, just a shack of a gas station. And the police officer gets out of his vehicle, and he saunters over, leans in, can obviously smell everything, the beer, the weed, and he goes, I'm from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. What part of Minnesota are you from? And I go, St. Louis Park. And he goes, could we talk for a while? Because I haven't talked to anybody without a southern drawl since I got here. And I really do miss talking to somebody from Minnesota. And he goes, I'm from Bloomington. I think it was a Brooklyn Park. I think it was Bloomington. So, hell yeah. I got out, lit up a cigarette, because in those days, I smoked. And you'll see me smoking now too. But is that just a ruse, or isn't it? Yeah, self-control. So, you see, he only pulled me over to chit-chat. And after chit-chatting and talking about our families, talking about our lives, talking about our, upbringing and what the high school was, and then I went to school with Prince, or I didn't with Prince, but his band, Matt and Bobby, organist and drummer. Just whatever's interesting about our lives. And so, yeah, you make presumptions and assumptions, having a giant tell me he's going to kick my ass. Having a police officer pull me over out in the middle of shoot him and throw him in swampland. It's like, don't let fear take you. Fear no man. Fear no man. And in order to conquer the demon, quit giving it so much power. Demons are wimpy little pathetic creatures that crawl around and slime around, and all you got to do is crush them with the foot of Michael or Gabriel or any other archangel of power that deals with a positive nature. And that is kind of my game, gang, because I was going to go fishing. Right. So like, comment, unsubscribe. As long as I wake one person up, give one person a hat, I feel that I have accomplished something a little more than just sitting there and complaining about things. So, this will continue, and so will I. Lord willing, the universe willing, or Buddha willing. And if you're an atheist, I apologize. I'm going to hell for that one. So I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.